Hey there, and welcome to the Girl Means Business podcast, the show that's all about helping photographers just like you build a thriving business without sacrificing your sanity. I'm your host, Kendra Swalls, a former teacher turned full-time photographer and marketing coach, here to fill your earbuds each week with practical tips, real-life stories, and a whole lot of encouragement. So if you're ready to dive in, let's get to it because this girl means business. Hey friend, and welcome back to the Girl Means Business podcast. This week, we're diving into a topic that, if I'm being completely honest, is not my favorite topic in photography, and that is mini sessions. I am going to do my best to not let my personal bias on this subject really shine through. I'm going to share the pros and cons of mini sessions, but then I really want to dive into the marketing side of mini sessions. So let's get into all of it. Okay, first of all, what are mini sessions? If you're not familiar with them already, they are basically just condensed versions of a photo shoot, typically 15 to 20 minutes long. And it's a way to give people access to sessions at a discounted price. They get less time, usually fewer images, sometimes with like a special setup and things like that. So the pros and cons. Mini sessions are a good idea if you want like a quick revenue boost. So if you are a wedding photographer and you're like, hey, I have a lot of couples who would like to do maybe like photos as their first Christmas card, and you want to offer up like a quick little mini session for that, it's a great way to kind of diversify what you do and add a little boost of revenue. Now, in that scenario, one of the benefits is you already have a built-in audience of past brides, past couples that you are kind of targeting. They are also really a great way to test out like a new concept. So maybe you are wanting to offer a certain type of sessions, like full sessions in your session repertoire. So for example, there's a kind of a trend going around right now of like these childhood sessions where you're doing photos of kids. And it can be a mix of like you're doing it at, bring a favorite stuffy. I did these with my kids when they were little. Every year for their birthday, we would go do a little mini photo shoot, and it would be about like all the things that are their favorite things in that moment. So it might be like favorite books we're reading, or a favorite stuffed animal, or a favorite like princess dress they love to dress up in. So it's more about like the childhood, fun things that are unique to where the phase of life that they're in. And so if you're thinking like, I want to add these in as a possible full session, but you're not sure how your audience will receive them, doing them as a mini session first is a good way to kind of test the waters to be like, is this something my audience actually wants or would even want? It's also a great way to kind of fill in seasonal gaps. So again, if you are a wedding photographer, we all know there's kind of a season, especially depending on where you live. But like here in Texas, we have kind of these little gaps in our season for weddings. Typically like January, February, March-ish are kind of slow for weddings. And then even sometimes like July and August, because it's so hot out, those can be slow seasons. Adding in some little mini sessions is a great way to kind of fill in those like natural seasonal highs and lows in your photography business. So mini sessions are good for that. Now, here are some of the cons to mini sessions. One is it's a lot of work in a very little amount of time for less money. So it's condensing everything, but you still are putting in almost the same amount of time you would for a full session when it comes to, booking the client, setting up the session, depending on how you kind of, manage them, and then shooting the session and then editing and delivering. All of that still falls into the same categories. You're still doing all that work, but you're getting less money for each session. And a lot of times when you do that, when you offer discounted sessions, it sometimes brings in not your ideal client. So not only are you still doing the same amount of work for less money, but you might be attracting the wrong client to your business. So I've seen this happen with one of my coaching clients that I worked with a while back. She was really wanting to kind of be known as this like luxury family photographer. She wanted everything to be highly stylized, very edited. beautiful, like works of art. And so like she dressed all of her clients. She would go like add in like those beautiful sky overlays and like really go in and detail edit a lot of photos. I mean, these were ones that like they were having huge art pieces in their home from her images. And so to fill in some of the, kind of the gaps in her schedule, she wanted to offer mini sessions. And the problem was, well, let me back up. Her goal with doing the mini sessions was, let me get them in on these kind of like, what was it she called them? They were like fine art portrait mini sessions, essentially. And so they were kind of just like single child, sort of like those modeling photos you see of kids where like their skin's really dewy and glowy and their eyes kind of pop and those kinds of, photos, but it was all in a mini session. And it was for a very discounted price based on what her full session pricing was. And so I was like, yeah, let's try it out. We'll give it a shot. I did tell her all my pros and cons, just like I've told you now. And she's like, no, I want to give it a shot and just see, like, I think it'd be a great way to get kind of people in the door. And then I can eventually turn them into full pay clients. So we did. And they sold great because there were people who were following her who loved her work and what she did, but couldn't afford her full sessions at the time. So they bought into these little mini sessions. And the problem we saw with this was that very, very few of those mini session clients actually turned into full session clients because there was no need for them to do the full session anymore. They got what they wanted from the mini session. Plus, her price point was out of their price point range. And so these mini sessions were the only accessible point for them to come in and get a session with her. So the idea of like, they're going to turn into full paying clients just didn't quite work out. So while she still offers those mini session options, they are very limited. She only does it like once, I think maybe twice a year tops. It's a very kind of exclusive. You have to be on her email list, all those things, which we'll get to in a minute. But ultimately, what she kind of discovered is that this was not the ultimate goal, was not working out the way she had intended it to do when she launched those mini sessions. So you're still doing the full work. You're getting lower price, less money coming in. You're having like not your ideal client necessarily always. And then a lot of the coaching clients that I do work with who offer mini sessions do tend to complain that you get more demanding clients with mini sessions than you do with full sessions. So something about it, I don't know what it is. And maybe this is just something that's like an anomaly to the people I'm working with, but I do tend to see that there's kind of this higher rate of client demands with mini sessions being more so than with like the clients who pay for and book full sessions. So again, kind of some pros and cons there. Okay. So now let's talk about how to market them. So let's say you're like, okay, mini sessions have always worked great for me, Kendra. They are like a staple. It's something I really want to do in my business. Awesome. Let's run with this. But you're like, but I'm not getting the bookings that I really want from them. So let's talk about this. There's a couple of things that when it comes to marketing mini sessions that I feel like you have to do differently than marketing full sessions. So with your full sessions, I want you to think about it like an evergreen tree, okay? You're constantly offering these full sessions. You're like, any time of year that you come to me, my tree is going to be green. It's going to be ready for you. We can book a session. With mini sessions, you almost need it to be like a seasonal flower, okay? Something that only pops up one time a year or, if it's twice a year. And it needs to be something that is considered scarce and there needs to be an urgency around it.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you've been lied to. Somewhere along the way, you were told by all the experts out there that there was only one way to grow your photography business. It involved posting on social media, following trends, and showing up every day, and the clients would magically come rolling in. But here's the thing, that's not how marketing really works. If you felt like you've been doing all the things and still aren't getting booked, it's not because you're not working hard enough. It's because you're missing a key piece to your marketing strategy. And no amount of Instagram reels or posts are going to fix that. It also is difficult because you don't always know what your missing piece is. And what's missing for your business is not the same as what's missing for someone else. For this reason, I've created the perfect quiz to help you figure out what is missing in your business. It's called the number one reason you're not fully booked, and it's a quick, eye-opening quiz that will pinpoint exactly what's holding you back. In less than 2 minutes, you'll get clarity on the biggest marketing gap in your business, a personalized action plan delivered straight to your inbox, and the next steps to start booking more of your dream clients without the hustle and without the burnout. So stop wasting time on strategies that aren't working for you. Click the link in the show notes, take the quiz, and finally get the answers you've been looking for. So a perfect example of this is here in Texas, every year we have bluebonnets. It's our state flower. They pop up all on the side of the highway. They're like this national thing. It's like a tradition every year. People go take pictures in the bluebonnets. They terrify me because I've heard so many horror stories about snakes hiding in the bluebonnets. It's just, they're not for me, and that's something that people do here. Now, if you wanted to offer bluebonnet mini sessions and you're like, hey, I offer them one time a year. We have a very small window of when these bluebonnets are going to be in season. You have X amount of time to book that session. I'm only opening up 8 spots for these mini sessions. That is scarcity. That is urgency. You're going to get people booking, okay? Because you've given them this little tiny window and said, hey, this is the one time a year I can offer this. It's that seasonal pop-up. It's that seasonal flower, literally in this case. Then people are more likely to book. Or it becomes kind of this tradition that every year for bluebonnets, they book with you to do a bluebonnet mini session. The flip side to this is if you are offering mini sessions as an evergreen option, like you constantly have new mini sessions every single month, that urgency and that scarcity isn't there. You've taken that away. And so if you are having trouble booking your mini sessions, it's probably because you have not created this sense of urgency around it. Because let's say, in the first month, you're like, hey, I'm going to offer these bluebonnet, or, let's say wildflower mini sessions in the spring. And then the next month, I'm going to offer like summer popsicle sessions. And then the next month, we're going to do a 4th of July pickup truck with watermelons. And then the next one, we're going to do back to school mini sessions. And then the next month, we're going to do, if you're advertising that every single month you're doing these, there's no reason for someone to jump on one opportunity. Because they know like, oh, well, it's okay. I don't have time to schedule that right now. Things are busy. Money's tight. But I know she's going to offer another one next month, so I'll just do it next month. Okay? It's kind of like the Hobby Lobby mentality. Like I know when I go to Hobby Lobby, if the item I want is not 40% off right now, I can go back in a week or two and it will be 40% off. So why would I buy it at full price that one week when I know next week it's going to be on sale? The same thing's happening with your clients. You're offering so many options and opportunities for them to book with you that they don't have that urgency. So either you're getting last minute bookings and you're like frustrated by that, or you're getting 2 or 3 bookings per mini session per month because you're doing so many of them all the time. So by limiting how often you offer your mini sessions, you're actually going to book out those mini sessions a lot faster and a lot easier than you would if you offered them continually all year long. There are so many examples of why, of how this works in marketing. Just think about all of those programs and courses and memberships that you see that are like, hey, we are opening the cart. It is available for 7 days and then it closes and you cannot, opt in anymore. There's something about that idea that like, oh my gosh, when those doors close on Friday at the end of the week and I can no longer access this item, like I am way more likely to buy into it. In fact, this just happened to me now that I'm talking about it. It just happened to me today. Like I came across a webinar for this item that I've been thinking about doing. It was a funnel building program. And they were offering like this, watch this webinar and then, you have until X date. This time it was like within 4 days of when this webinar that I came across was open. They're like, you have until this date to get in at this price. And it was like half off of whatever the normal price was. And I really went through that cycle of like, oh my gosh, I need this item. I want this item, but I need to do it before the end of the date or I'm going to miss out. It's not going to be available, or it's going to be available at twice the price. Like, we're doing this all the time. It's happening to you. Like, you're falling for it every time, but you're not applying that same concept to your clients. So if you want more people to book with you, you have to create scarcity and urgency. So limited spots, countdowns to like, you only have until this date to book. The next one that kind of falls into this is early access. One of the key things that I preach all the time, and you know this, you've been here, you've heard this, is build your email list. Okay. If you really want to sell mini sessions, the people you're going to be selling them to most likely are going to be your past clients or your potential clients that are on your email list. If you are posting them to random Facebook groups hoping that someone books a mini session with you, you're probably struggling to get your mini sessions booked. But if you are selling them to an audience of people who have already said, I'm interested in what you have to offer, tell me more, then you're more likely to book those out. So by putting something up on your website, or, let's say that you're going to open your mini session bookings open on May 1st and they last through May 10th. You have 10 days to book your mini session for, whatever it is you're offering in the summer or back to school or whatever. On like the weeks leading up to that, you need to be telling people, hey, I'm going to be opening my mini session dates and times. It's only available to my email list. If you want to book this, you have to be on my email list. Here's where you sign up. Or you get first access by being on the email list. So sign up because you'll get access to book 2 days earlier than the general public. So you get priority time slots. Maybe if you're on the email list, you also get a bonus extra image or something. Make it something that's really incentivizing. And then those become your VIPs. And honestly, if you're doing this once or twice a year, then you should be able to get to the point where you don't even have to advertise your mini sessions outside of your email list or your VIP group on Facebook. Like wherever you're building your audience. I would say email is better, but if you're doing it on a Facebook group, that's fine too. But the goal should be that you don't ever have to advertise your mini sessions to the general public, that they are only for people that are on your VIP list, whether that's your email list or a Facebook group, because that's where you want to make sure that you're building that audience of ready to buy clients. Okay, up next is you have to show off what it is they're going to be getting. Because, and this is where it gets a little tricky, and I've seen so many conversations around this on social media, is that you need to not use other people's images. Absolutely 100,000%. Don't use someone else's images. If you really want to make your mini sessions work, you should be creating like a setup, going in and taking promo photos, and then advertising that setup for your photos. In fact, one of my coaching clients does this with her mini sessions. She works with a local boutique to do these little like children's mini sessions, motherhood mini sessions, and she will go in a month or two prior and she will do the whole setup, and then she will take the promo photos and then she'll use those for advertising. People are not going to buy what they can't see. And so just giving them like a vision board doesn't really work, because they're like, okay, well, you're showing me like pictures of a desk and a ruler and a globe and some books, but is that really what the setup's going to be? Because if I get there and that's not what the setup is, it feels a little bait and switch like. So you need to make sure that when you are advertising your mini sessions, you are doing them with photos that will actually reflect what your session is. Now, okay, I can already hear the hands going up in class, objections. Okay, but Kendra, what if I'm doing a super elaborate setup and I can't afford to do it twice? I get that. Kendra, what if I'm using a particular item or a location that I don't have access to all the time, whether it's a pickup truck or an ice cream truck or a whatever, like a Highland cow, like all those things. I get that. But you can go the vision board route. You're welcome to do that. What I'm saying is, if you genuinely want to make your mini sessions sell out and you want to make sure people are 110% sure of what they're getting and they're ready for it, you've got to go in and take those promo photos. Okay? If you do Highland Cow mini sessions every single year, then use your past images. That's fine. But people want to know what they're getting. And so all these people that are putting out there, there's already like distrust around photographers, unfortunately. There's so many bad apples out there that have kind of messed it up for the rest of us, that consumers are a little bit gun shy. And so if they're looking at two photographers who are doing back to school mini sessions, okay, and one of them has actual photos of the session, like my daughter's one year did a back to school mini session on a school bus. And that photographer had the school bus set up. She had brought in like some of her own kids and did promo photos. We knew exactly what we were getting going into it. And they were super, super cute. And then there's the photographer that had like a picture of a school bus, a picture of like a back to school setup and with a desk and a chair and all the things. And then like a random photo of something else. Like giving you kind of like a general, like it's a back to school themed photo shoot. Well, I want to know exactly what I'm paying for. If I'm going to pay you my hard-earned money, I want to know what I'm getting. So you need to really show off as much as you possibly can. All right, last two things super quick. One is collaborations. If you are, again, let's say that you're using some big props. Like I saw a really cute mini session one time that used an old ice cream truck. And it was a company that had this really cute kind of vintage ice cream truck, and they would take it around to events, typically like weddings, different trade shows, things like that. But you could rent it out and have them come set up, and it was this cute little vintage ice cream truck. Well, they rented that out for their mini sessions. That's a collaboration. So you could say, hey, if, would you share this out with your audience since we're going to be using your truck? And that way, like you're expanding your reach. If you're using florists, like you're adding in certain flowers to your backdrop, you're doing like a spring floral thing, then ask the florist, will you partner with me on this? Like we can advertise it to each other's, whatever. Anytime you can add in collaborations and expand your reach, that's key. And then last but not least, you have to make the booking process as easy as humanly possible, because already you are targeting a client who wants short, simple, and low cost. Okay. And I'm not saying your mini sessions have to be super cheap, but I'm just saying it's less cost than a full session. So clearly they are busy. They're pressed for time. They want convenience. Okay. That's kind of what you're selling with these mini sessions, is a little bit of convenience. But then if they go in to book and the process is 7 steps long, they're out. Okay. You need the process to be as simple as click here, choose your date and time, make your deposit or fill out this form or however you want to do it. But if they have to jump through 12 million hoops to book a session with you, they're not going to do it. So make that as super, super easy as possible. And then as like a little bonus tip, once you have them booked, make sure you're following up. Use automated systems if you can, but let them know like reminders of their date and time, when they should show up, if they need to be early, if they need to bring anything, all the things, because again, people are busy. And in order to make the mini session run smoothly for yourself, you want them to be as prepared as possible when they come in to do their session. So giving them all of that information as often as and as quickly as possible once they've booked will really help not only them feel confident and ready to go in their session and confident in the fact they made the right choice in booking that session, but then it's going to help you take the stress off your shoulders of having to stress about, are they going to be on time? Are they going to know where to go? Are they going to come prepared with the X, Y, or Z? Like all those things are taken care of. So automate that as much as you possibly can. Okay, so as a wrap up here, mini sessions definitely have their pros and cons. If you are really ready to dive into the world of mini sessions or refine your mini session process, then you need to make sure that you are creating scarcity and you are creating a sense of urgency. That is the number one thing with mini sessions that are going to help you get the most bookings. Create that VIP list. Make sure you are showing them what they're going to get so they are fully prepared and know exactly what they're buying into. Collaborate when you can and create a super simple booking system. If you do those things, I think you will have no problem selling out your mini sessions. If this is something you're like, I've done all those things, Kendra. I have a VIP list with X number of people on it, a huge list. I'm creating scarcity and urgency. Nothing is working. Send me a DM. Send me an email. Let's talk more. I would love to kind of break down what's working and what's not working in your mini sessions, because even though I personally don't love doing them in my photography business, that doesn't mean I don't want you to be successful with them in your business if that's the route you're wanting to go. So feel free to reach out to me and I'd be happy to break that down for you. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here again this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you're able to take something away from this and really implement it in your business, whether it's towards mini sessions or anything else that you're doing. As always, if you have questions, ideas, comments, concerns, want help within your business, you are more than welcome to reach out to me. I'm on Instagram at girlmeansbusiness, or you can email me at kendra@girlmeansbusiness.com. I'd love to hear from you. Have a great week, and I will see you back here next week, same time, same place.